Kumusta mga Exile? Game Ross here. Welcome to another my budget build guide. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about my exploding skeletons. And to begin this guide, I'm gonna talk about my equipment. First are my unique items. First is this Erendil's Embrace. And it says here, Summon Skeleton, cover enemies in ash on hit, which means the enemies will take increased fire damage. And also it says here, Summon Skeleton, take 28% of their maximum life per second as fire damage. And when you get this item, make sure to get a high percentage of this, so your skeleton will die faster. And another unique item is this Maligarus Lens Shield. And I'm using Necromantic Aegis, so this shield will apply to my minions. And this shield gives increased maximum life, which is good because your skeleton deal more damage if they have more damage. And also this shield gives negative 50% to all elemental resistance, which your skeleton will take more damage from this item. Also it says here, nearby allies recover 2% of your maximum life when you die. So when your skeleton dies and you're nearby them, they will heal you. And also I'm using this Blood Bond Bone Armor, which gives you increased maximum life and gives your minion increased maximum life. And also I'm using this Essence Worm and Set Ring, and I use Anger in this ring. And lastly is this Alberon Warpath, and I'm only using this because of the +1 to maximum number of skeleton. And for the rare items, first I want to talk about this helmet. And as you can see, it says here, Socketed Gems are supported by Concentrated Effect and Minion Life. And if you can find a cheap helmet with additional level to Minion Gems and supported by Immolate, that is much better. But most of the time, those kind of helmet are very expensive. So this kind of helmet is totally fine. And in this helmet, is where I put my summon skeletons. And as you can see, I crafted this +1 to maximum number of raised zombies and skeletons. And for the amulet, look for an amulet with + to maximum number of skeleton. And I crafted this minion movement speed. Same thing with the ring. I crafted this minion movement speed. And yeah, for the rest of my rare item, they are just life and resist. And for the flask, I'm using defensive flask since they do not apply to my minions. And I'm using basalt flask for additional physical damage reduction, granite flask for more armor, and quicksilver flask for increased movement speed. For the gem setups, I'm using Balsamon Skeleton with Infernal Legion, and this gem really helps burn your skeleton's life much faster. And also your skeletons will deal fire damage per second to enemy nearby. And also I'm using Unleash Support Gem, so I can cast all of my skeleton in one cast. And also I'm using minion damage. And on my weapon I have Steel Skin, Summon Carrion Golem with cast when damage is taken. And on my gloves I have Summon Skitterbot, so my enemies will have chill and shock debuff. And I'm using level 1 Clarity, and I'm using Steel Skin, low level Steel Skin, and cast when damage is taken, and these two are totally optional. And on my boots I have Raised Zombie with Meat Shield, Fortify, and Minion Life. And on my shield I have Flame Dash, Convocation, and Arcane Surge. For the Pantheon, I'm using Soul of the Brine King for the 2-second stun immunity, and Soul of Critical for the physical damage reduction. For the Ascendancy, I'm using Necromancer, and I'm using Commander of Darkness for increased attack and cast speed per active aura, increased damage, and increased elemental resistance. Mindless Aggression for minion movement speed, minion damage, attack speed, and cast speed. Unnatural Strength for +2 to level of all minion skill gems. and Bone Barrier for physical damage reduction and elemental resistance per minion, and also it gives 20% more maximum life to your minion. For the skill tree, get those nodes that will give you +1 to maximum number of raised zombies and skeleton. And also I'm using this Whisper of Doom for additional curse. Minion stability, so my minion explode when reduced to low life, dealing 33% of their maximum life as fire damage to surrounding enemies. And of course those minion nodes. And I'm using this elemental equilibrium, so my enemies will have negative fire resistance when they are hit with my storm brand. And also I'm using this necromantic aegis, so my shield will apply to my minions. And lastly, for the jewels, look for jewels that will give your minion increased maximum life and increased damage. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this build. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Magkita na lang tayo sa susunod na video.